Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Harris and I am presenting on my quality of data assignment for MPH 516. First, I'm going to give a brief overview of the study that I chose. The study that I chose is a qualitative research study among Swedish students to determine their perspectives on public health. A total of 32 participants, ages 15 to 18 years old, participated in the study, and they were a part of a combination of focus groups and one-on-one interviews. There were three overarching themes that were discovered. The first one was having mental problems is the new normal. The second one was what other people think of you affects you. And number three is if others lack experience and knowledge, they don't respond well. There were other similar themes as well, but these three were the most prominent throughout the research study. So naturally, with any study that involves human subjects, there are a few ethical concerns. Participants were minors since they were between 15 and 18, but under Swedish law, adolescents are allowed to participate in research from the age of 15 without parental consent, if they are capable of understanding given information and the consequences of their participation. So in this case, people that were under 18 by U.S. standards were actually able to participate without their parents knowing. So that allowed the study, in my opinion, to have more authentic answers because they didn't have their parents looming over them. Also, the participants were informed that they could leave the study at any given time. So that kind of gave them, the participants, the freedom to decide whether or not they wanted to stay. If they began to feel uncomfortable, they could drop out, and I think it probably gave them a sense of comfort. So the study was approved by the Swedish Ethical Review Board, which is very similar to our IRBs here in the United States. The Swedish Ethical Review Board examines the applications for ethics review of research involving humans and human biological material. And additionally, all the participants' names were switched to pseudonyms to protect their privacy. So whenever you do happen to read this study, there are names for the participants, but they are not their actual names. All right, now we're going to dive into the trustworthiness of the research. Starting with the validity. Validity is defined as the appropriateness of the tools, process, and data used in qualitative research. So how did they use validity in their project? Well, they pilot tested the interview guide with the first focus group to determine the appropriateness and if any changes needed to be made. Once that was concluded, they decided that there were not any changes that needed to be made, and this interview guide was later dispersed to each focus group and one-on-one interview. Next, we'll dive into reliability. Reliability is defined as consistency within qualitative research. So, how did they do it? Each of the participants were asked the exact same questions, whether they were in focus groups or one-on-one interviews. Also, each session was monitored by an observer and discussed afterward with the moderator. So, in a brief conclusion, mental health and people's perceptions on mental health is constantly changing and evolving. This particular study highlighted the perspectives of adolescents in Sweden. I personally think that this study can be used as a template or even as a reference for studies in the United States. And here are my references. Thank you very much for listening.